It is 2 in the morning. The room is completely dark. The house is completely quiet. But inside your head, it is deafening. You are staring at the ceiling, trapped in a relentless, exhausting loop. You are replaying a conversation from 3 years ago, dissecting a slight change in tone from a coworker today, or projecting a completely fabricated, catastrophic disaster that is going to happen tomorrow. You are physically exhausted, yet your brain is running a marathon on a treadmill of worst-case scenarios. Today, we are going to build that pause button. We are not going to talk about toxic positivity. I am never going to sit here and tell you to just think good vibes, or to just stop worrying. Telling an overthinker to stop thinking is like telling someone who is drowning to just breathe water. It does not work, and it only makes you feel broken for not being able to do it. Instead, we are going deep into the mechanics of why your brain does this, how to dismantle the anxiety loop, and highly effective, psychologically proven frameworks you can use tonight to take your power back. First, I need you to understand something absolutely crucial. You are not broken. Your brain is not malfunctioning. In fact, your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is just doing it in the wrong century. Millions of years ago, the humans who survived were the ones who overthought everything. The early human who heard a rustle in the bushes and thought, "That is definitely a tiger. I am going to be eaten," ran away and lived. The human who heard the rustle and thought, "Oh, it is probably just the wind," got eaten. Evolution specifically selected for brains that possess a massive negativity bias. Your brain is a survival machine, not a happiness machine. Its primary job is to scan the environment, identify threats, and keep you alive. The problem is, we no longer live in the savannah surrounded by predators. But your brain has not updated its software, so it takes that same life-or-death survival energy and applies it to modern problems. An unanswered text message, a vague email from your boss, a slightly awkward social interaction. Your brain perceives these modern uncertainties as mortal threats. It sounds the alarm, flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline, demanding that you solve the problem immediately to survive. This leads us to the core issue, the difference between problem solving and rumination. Your brain thinks that by constantly turning a negative thought over and over, it is working on a solution. It tricks you into believing that worrying is productive. But it is not. Problem solving is active. It moves forward. Rumination is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you absolutely nowhere. It just deepens the groove of anxiety in your neural pathways. So how do we break the loop? How do we step off the treadmill? The first step is to recognize the lies your brain is telling you. In psychology, these are called cognitive distortions. They are the faulty lenses through which your anxiety views the world. Let us break down the 4 most common ones that trap overthinkers. The first is mind reading. This is when you assume you know exactly what someone else is thinking, and it is always negative. Your friend is quiet at dinner, and you instantly decide they are angry with you, or they find you annoying. You have zero evidence for this. They might just have a headache, or they might be worried about their own finances, but your brain jumps to the most painful conclusion and accepts it as a hard fact. The second distortion is fortune telling. This is when you predict the future, and the forecast is always a catastrophe. You make one small mistake at work, and suddenly you are playing a mental movie where you get fired, lose your home, and end up completely alone. You treat these imagined, terrible futures as if they have already happened, feeling all the devastating emotions of an event that literally does not exist outside your own head. The third is mental filtering. Imagine wearing glasses that block out all the light and only let you see shadows. That is filtering. You could have an amazing day, receive 3 compliments, and have a great lunch, but you spill a tiny bit of coffee on your shirt, and suddenly, the entire day is ruined. You completely discount the positive and magnify the negative until it is the only thing you can see. The fourth is emotional reasoning. This is perhaps the most dangerous trap. It is the belief that because you feel something strongly, it must be objectively true. You feel like a failure, so you conclude you must be a failure. You feel overwhelmed, so you conclude the situation is impossible. You let your temporary emotional weather dictate your permanent reality. Once you understand these distortions, you can start catching your brain in the act. But catching it is only half the battle. What do you do when the negative spiral has already started? How do you actually pull yourself out? We are going to use a technique from acceptance and commitment therapy called cognitive diffusion. When you are overthinking, you are completely fused with your thoughts. You believe you are your thoughts. Diffusion is the act of creating distance between you, the observer, and the thought itself. Right now, when a negative thought hits, you say to yourself, "I am a failure," or "Everyone hates me." I want you to change the language. The next time the thought arrives, I want you to mentally say, "I am having the thought that I am a failure. I am having the thought that everyone hates me." It sounds simple, almost too simple. But neurologically, it is profound. By adding that phrase, "I am having the thought that," you step out of the storm and into the shelter. You remind your brain that a thought is just a string of words. It is just a firing of neurons. It is not a directive, it is not a prophecy, and it is certainly not a fact. You do not have to believe everything you think. Your brain produces thoughts the way your stomach produces acid. It is just an organ doing its job. You do not have to consume every single thing it serves you. Another powerful diffusion technique is naming your inner critic. Give that anxious, overthinking part of your brain a name. Call it Bob, call it Karen, call it the doom forecaster. When the negative spirals start, you can say to yourself, "Oh, Bob is at it again. Bob is really convinced the world is ending today because of that email." This strips the thought of its terrifying authority and makes it almost absurd. You are taking the microphone away from the monster in your head and realizing it is just a tiny, scared mechanism behind a curtain pulling levers. But sometimes the overthinking is so intense that mental exercises are not enough. Sometimes the anxiety has left your brain and completely hijacked your nervous system. Your heart is racing, your chest is tight, your breathing is shallow. When you are in this state of physiological panic, you cannot outthink your thoughts. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, is essentially offline. You have to use your body to rescue your mind. This requires a physical pattern interrupt. You need to send a biological signal to your brain that you are safe. One of the fastest ways to do this is through temperature. If you are spiraling uncontrollably, go to your bathroom and splash freezing cold water on your face, or hold an ice cube in your hand until it melts. The intense physical sensation forces your brain to snap back to the present moment. It activates the mammalian dive reflex, which instantly slows your heart rate and begins to dial down the panic. Another physical interrupt is the physiological sigh. This is a breathing technique discovered by neurobiologists that rapidly reduces autonomic arousal. You take 2 sharp inhales through the nose, followed by 1 long, slow exhale through the mouth. The double inhale completely fills the lungs and pops open tiny air sacs that collapse under stress. And the long exhale offloads massive amounts of carbon dioxide while engaging the vagus nerve to calm you down. Do this 3 times when you feel the overthinking start to peak. 2 sharp inhales, 1 long exhale. You are hacking your nervous system to force your brain to quiet down. Now, what do we do about the lingering worries? The chronic, low-grade anxieties that hum in the background all day? You cannot simply banish them, but you can contain them. I want you to implement a strategy called scheduled worry time. Right now, your anxiety has free reign over your entire day. It interrupts your work, your meals, your conversations. We are going to put boundaries on it. Pick a specific time every day, let us say 4:30 in the afternoon, and give yourself 15 minutes to worry. Set a timer. Get a notebook. For those 15 minutes, you are allowed to overthink to your heart's content. Write down every worst-case scenario. Write down every fear, every negative thought, every catastrophic prediction. Lean into it completely. But when that timer goes off, you close the notebook and you walk away. The worry time is over. The magic of this technique happens during the rest of the day. At 10 in the morning, when a negative thought tries to intrude, you do not fight it, and you do not suppress it. You simply say to yourself, "I hear you, but we are not dealing with this right now. We will handle this at 4:30. You are not denying the anxiety, which usually makes it fight back harder. You are just delaying it. 9 times out of 10, by the time 4:30 rolls around, the thought that felt like a life or death emergency at 10 in the morning has completely lost its power, and you barely even care to write it down. Finally, the ultimate antidote to negative overthinking is action. Overthinking thrives in the abstract. It lives in the foggy, undefined spaces of what-ifs and maybes. To defeat it, you must drag it into the concrete world of right now. When you catch yourself paralyzed by a negative thought loop, ask yourself one question: what is the next smallest, actionable step I can take right now? I do not mean the step that solves the whole problem. I mean the absolute smallest microscopic step. If you are overthinking a massive project and feeling like a failure, the next smallest step is not to finish the project. It is to open the document. That is it. If you are overthinking a difficult conversation you need to have, the next smallest step is to write the first sentence of a text message on a piece of scrap paper. Action breaks the spell of rumination. It pulls you out of the imagined catastrophic future and plants you firmly in the present reality. It proves to your brain that you are not helpless, that you have agency, and that you are capable of moving forward, even if it is just one tiny inch at a time. I want to leave you with this final thought. Healing from chronic overthinking is not about achieving a perfectly quiet mind. That is a myth. The human brain is noisy. It is messy. It will always generate random, bizarre, and sometimes negative thoughts. The goal is not to stop the thoughts from arriving. The goal is to stop inviting them in for tea, offering them a comfortable chair, and letting them move into your house. You are the sky, and your thoughts are just the weather. Sometimes it is sunny, and sometimes there is a terrifying thunderstorm. But no matter how dark the clouds get, no matter how loud the thunder crashes, the storm is not the sky. The storm always passes, and the sky remains, expansive, untouched, and whole. You are not the anxiety. You are not the negative spiral. You are the awareness watching it happen. Which means you have the power to watch it leave. If this video helped you, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment down below with the word sky so I know who made it all the way to the end. Take a deep breath. Drink some water. Be gentle with yourself today. You are doing much better than your brain is telling you. I will see you in the next video.